Good evening. Tempe Union continues to maintain social distancing for the safety of our community. The open meeting law permits a public body to hold a remote meeting through technological means and implement procedures designed to safeguard the public's access to the meeting. We're streaming this meeting live on the district's YouTube channel. The time is now 7:00 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Let the record show that we have 4 board members present, 1 absent, and I move to adopt the agenda. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you so much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Next, we have executive session. Do any board members want to go into executive session to review the minutes from the June 16th executive session? Hearing none, seeing none. All right, then we will continue with the Pledge of Allegiance by Dr. Keller and followed by the land acknowledgement with Vice President Barraza.
I pledge allegiance to
Thank you.
The Tempe Union High School District acknowledges that our community of schools is located on ancestral lands, Akmo Atum and Posh, indigenous peoples who have inhabited these lands since time immemorial. With this land acknowledgement, the district formally recognizes that the traditional care and keeping of these lands by indigenous peoples allow us to be here today.
Thank you so much, Vice President Barraza and Dr. Keller. Now we have a report from our superintendent, Dr. Mendeville.
Thank you, President Garcia, Vice President Barraza, members of our board, and executive team members, those who are in the audience, very few, but our viewing and listening audience outside. Got a couple of things for you. I'm excited to be back. I want to recognize a new person to our district in the Business Services Department. I'm going to ask that Mr. Leon come up to the microphone, if that's okay with you. It better be. Joseph Leon comes to Tempe Union High School District, to our district, with several years of school finance experience. He has served as property control accountant in the Phoenix Elementary District, internal auditor for Mesa Public Schools, and most recently, Director of Finance at Casa Grande Elementary District. Mr. Leon consistently looks for ways to equip staff with systems and tools to enable success for the entire organization. He also has a passion for learning and for providing students the best experience possible. This passion started early in his career when he held a school support position, helping staff, students, and parents. Tempe Union will benefit from Mr. Leon's experience guiding operational improvement. I'm already witnessing that. Knowledge of financial standards and collaborative approach in working with colleagues. So Joseph, we welcome you to Tempe Union formally. And just in our visits the last week and a half, I'm most impressed, I can tell you that, because you really are a good listener. You want to understand our organization, but you want to get to know our people, you know, our students, what they do, and the work that we all are doing on behalf of our students. And so in your department with business services and finance particularly, you hold the purse. And so I just appreciate the skill base and knowledge and the passion that you have focusing around what's best for our students and staff. So welcome to Tempe Union, but I also want you to share a little bit of what you've experienced so far, if you are able to.
Thank you, Superintendent Mendeville. Really appreciate being here, actually. This is a very exciting opportunity for me. I think the thing I've been most grateful for already has been trying to develop relationships with my colleagues as well as with my team, and just trying to understand how Tempe Union operates. So my commitment is obviously to provide as much support not only to my colleagues, but also to our schools. One of my commitments that I articulated today in a meeting with Dr. Mendeville is to go out to the schools, meet with the administrators, meet with the school office staff, and get to know our people, our community, and find out what they need and try to figure out the best way to support them, because currently I don't know, but I am excited to learn.
Well, you know a lot more than you're giving yourself credit for right now. Board members, do we have any questions or welcoming remarks or anything?
Vice President Brazen.
Yes, I briefly had an opportunity to say hello to you before, I believe those are previous, if not the previous board meeting, along with Sarah. And I could see the enthusiasm you come in with, and it's very, it's great to see, you know, because we really want a broad, outside the box perspective, and someone that's always trying to reach to understand what it means to be a part of Tempe Union. And I think you're going to be exactly what we need. So I'm, you know, looking forward to getting more to know you and, you know, learning from you, because us board members, you know, we have a lot to learn from our executive team and our staff members overall. They are the ones, that, you know, the boots on the ground. So congratulations on, like, you know, just being here, you know, and I look forward to just seeing what you do. And the one thing I just want to add is always look at innovation, innovation, innovation. I think there's always room to innovate. So don't be afraid to look at ideas and talk to Dr. Mendeville and the team, because I think you really have great support here at Tempe Union.
I agree with you, and I am not afraid of innovation, so you got it.
Well, welcome. We're super excited to have you here, and you know, you've already hit the ground running, and we're super excited to see what else you bring with you and the things that you create here. And yeah, I had the pleasure of running into you shortly coming in for my board prep, but I'm excited to get to know you two as well. And yeah, welcome. Hopefully everything is going well so far.
He's only been here 2 weeks.
They're
yes.
They're not working you too much, but we're really excited to have you here. So welcome.
As am I. Thank you.
He's in good hands. You've got a wonderful department there, and we're really glad you're here. Thank you, Joseph.
Absolutely.
Second item, I just want to announce that the ASU Law Conference, the annual law conference, is in September 9th and 10th. I know some of you are attending, if not all of you. I think it'd be wonderful if we went as a team, so we'll entertain those of you who plan on attending.
Yes, and if I may, please register for the law conference. It's one of the most helpful and beneficial conferences to our own growth, but just supplement the knowledge that and issues that are very, very much relevant. So please register and talk with June as soon as you can.
Great. And finally, I want to just share, we talked about at the, when we ended the school year, about opportunities to have our students return and our families return, those who've not already registered, but where we know they've gone missing. We're not alone. Many districts, all the districts, not just in Arizona, but throughout the country, have a number of students who we don't know where they've gone to. We know they're out there somewhere. So proudly, one thing to say with Arizona is that they've signed on with a organization called Engage Arizona, and we've signed up. That has no cost to us, but it's a support organized system that will help us identify the students that we don't know where they're at. The Arizona Department of Education generated a list for all the districts and those schools who, all schools, and a list of students who are not registered as of late or have gone missing. So this is a partnership with our district and Engage AZ. We're excited about that. Kyrene is on board. We're getting Tempe L on board, and this will fall perfectly in alignment with our multi-tiered system of support and the support teams in reaching out to these families who may be experiencing all sorts of trials at this time, and to get them back to school where we know they're going to be the safest, where they're going to have a quality education with their friends and a couple of hot meals. So I'm just proud with that. I will keep the board apprised with the progress that we have. Right now, we have about 619 students that are not accounted for the 21-22 school year. That's a very fluid number. That number was probably from 2 or 3 weeks ago. That is going to change. We're going to continue to monitor that. I want to personally acknowledge Stacy White, the Director of Instructional Services, because she's taken the lead role with this. When this was given to me by the State Department and asked if Tempe Union would like to participate, this was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I read it and thought, this is exactly what we need. Stacy took it on and has owned it and is working cooperatively with each of our school sites. So I just wanted to share that because it's exciting news. Any time we can get some free support and actually support that's very targeted to a specific group of students, we're going to say yes to that. And Tempe Union is saying yes to this. So that is my report.
Thanks so much, Dr. Mendenville. Next, we have public comment. Dr. Mendenville, do we have any public comment at this time?
No, we do not have public comment at this time.
All right, we will continue on with consent agenda. All right, may I get approval of items F1 through F16?
Approve
Yes,
a motion.
I motion to approve, 1 second. Motion to approve consent agenda item F1 through F16.
All right, may I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, and I believe we have questions at this time. Do we have any questions?
For discussion, yeah.
Member Montero?
Yeah, I just had a quick question on item F4, specifically on the creation of the new position, the Director of the Innovation Academy. I would just wanted to see if we could get just some quick clarification, not only for us, but also just for the community as a whole, on what the role of this position is as we're rolling out this Innovation Academy, and what the timeline of what that looks like, or what you see that role being, just so we can we're all kind of on the same page on what that is before we approve it.
Absolutely. Great question, Board Member Montero, and I know that others have had that shared curiosity. We are at the very, very infant stages of rebranding, repurposing the Compadre campus, that building, that facility. As you all know, that's a fairly new facility, especially the back end is, those classrooms are, what, 6 years old, Sean, since you were 7 years old, gently used, and have a lot of desirable qualities to them for all of us, but it is our property. So in the repurposing of that building, and our goal is to engage the community, our partners, community partners, business partners, the university partners, in gathering input on what would be the best way to repurpose and rebrand that building. What you see today is the very first step with that process in recommending the hire of what we're calling right now the Executive Director for the Innovation Academy. As you know, when a building is just a building, but what you put into it and its purpose makes all the difference. The name Innovation Academy is just like a nameplate. When we get more information from our community and stakeholders, that name could very well change, as it should, unless they choose to keep that name. But the hiring of this position, and we have it titled specifically as Executive Director, because it has to be separate from the 6 comprehensive school sites. The intention is not to recreate another, the 7th high school all over again. The intention in repurposing the building is to look and find innovative ways in which we can meet the needs for our students existing in our district, but also to attract new students to our system. And I have a lot of visions that I have, but that may not matter. What we need to do is to gather the input of our stakeholders. And so the work has to begin soon because time is flying. And so it's just real important to get that position approved so we can move forward in the next steps, like getting a consulting firm and bringing partners together, our business partners, I'm thinking the CTE, there you go, see, our CTE programming partners with EVIT, ASU, there's just a lot of promise and opportunity with that building, but we've got to get moving on it right away. And so our intention is to continue to update not just the board, but our community on the progress with the information as we move forward. My intention also is to, as we know more in the next 4 to 6 weeks, is to provide that information to our employees, because our employees are going to have, I'm sure, some wonderful ideas and input as well, our teachers and staff, so we would certainly entertain those as well. Okay.
And our students. Vice President Barraza?
First, this pertains to other items, so Board Member Armando, okay. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting the conversation. I just wanted, just really quickly, just to acknowledge and say thanks to Assistant Superintendent McDonald for always looking at preventative care. There's some stuff in here in terms of fire prevention or suppression systems and extinguishers that we're looking at preventative care, as well as the HVAC. A lot of this stuff is expensive initial cost, but what we've seen in the past is that it's been detrimental to budgets when they do break down in large amounts. So I really appreciate everyone involved. So please convey to everyone that's been a part of all of these projects and renovations. That includes everything from, we even have Marcos Denisa, the renovation, the contracts. All of this stuff takes a lot of time. So I just want to make sure, that the board, you all understand that the board, we really greatly appreciate all the effort. So please convey that to everyone, everyone from the person that just calls in and get the deliveries going, so please. And Joseph, our new budget and finance director, it sounds like you're going to have a big job with this new compadre or the building, the facility. So that's going to be exciting. I'd love to hear your ideas on that down the road. Other than that, I'd just like to hear from Dr. Mendeville. Can you just give a little background on the Gear Up program with ASU? It's a collaboration and research. We have the 2 board members that are new, and they were not, I guess they wouldn't really know too much about it at this point, but it's really exciting, at least in my opinion.
Great, thank you.
Sorry to put you on the spot. I know it's a big project.
You're not putting it on me on the spot, because I love this program. And so thank you for asking, Vice President Barraza. The Gear Up program is a collaborative agreement that it began with Tempe Elementary with, I believe, Gilliland, and we're trying to bring on board McCamey as well. So this was the first year we received the incoming 9th graders. So the 9th graders from Gilliland are at Tempe High, so this is housed at Tempe High, and they have been really, really supportive. This is quite a healthy grant through ASU and their partners to provide very, very specific activities and events and tutorial, and I mean, they do so much, and they have reported to me, and I'm very proud to say this, that their experience and relationship with Tempe High, Principal Gulliford, and the staff there has been extraordinarily positive. They're using our partnership rather, as kind of a model for the grant. and they're wanting to bring on McCamey, which I believe will happen this year, so that the incoming ninth graders for the following year will have the same experience. So we want to make sure that we're reaching all our students. And so I'm just excited because there's a lot of resources and money in the students that we receive who are tutoring our kids, but also in ways where they can compensate our existing staff to provide support that may be outside the school day. So we're excited about our partnership with Gear Up.
I appreciate you giving that backstory to them. It's really cool. It's a longevity study, and it's very funded, and ASU is excited about it, and we're the ones that get to take these students into the high school perspective of it, so I'm excited about that, and so thank you. Other than that, I'd just like to thank our community members. We have donations and gifts that I would just like to acknowledge at this time. Corona del Sol Touchdown Club gave to Corona del Sol $31,465.80. And that is, I'd like to point that out because it's a really great program. It's to, I believe, Camp Tontozona. You know, it's a really good leadership program and mentorship program that they do. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank Wendy Scree to McClintock High School for a $30 donation, and Stardust to Marcos Denise High School for 60 boxes of hand sanitizer valued at $300. Thank you all. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much. Any other board members, questions or comments on consent agenda items? No? Oh, Member James?
Thank you. Just to follow up on the compadre issue that we're approving tonight, as I was talking with Dr. Mendeville about the position that we're hiring for, I want to express how important I think it is that we really invest the time in creating this program with our community's input and our teachers' input. And I appreciate that we have this time to do it. I have participated in innovative schools that were being built as we were teaching. And it's not what's best for teachers or for students. And I would love to make sure that we are consulting Dr. Moon to make sure that we are making sure that this is an inclusive program for all of our students at every campus so that they have the opportunity to participate in whatever that iteration is that we create. Because I think that this could be an incredible opportunity, and we want to make sure that every student has the chance that wants to and can participate in whatever this program becomes. So just looking at that through that lens of equity and inclusion and making sure we have Dr. Moon's voice throughout the process with the director and everybody involved. And I think that we can really create something that will bring a lot more students to our district. It's exciting, and I think that by taking the time and ensuring that we have transparency with our staff and our community, we will create the best version of whatever is to come.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more on all those points. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Member James. Echo everything you said. All right, and at this time, are there any other questions or comments for consent agenda? No? All right, hearing none, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Next, we have board policies G1, policy JII, student concerns, complaints, and grievances. Dr. Meneville.
Thank you, President Garcia, Vice President Barraza, members of the board, executive team. We are recommending the approval of JII, student concerns, complaints, and grievances as presented. We periodically bring forward changes to policies that may result out of legislative action or federal rules, and we have to be in compliance, of course. And this is one of those. Legal counsel and district administration has reviewed all the policies that are presented in this particular policy of JII. As stated in policy GB, policy adoption, policies may be adopted or amended at a single meeting of the governing board when the proposed policy or amendment is consistent with statute and other policies, and board members are unanimously in favor of adoption, and that is what I'm recommending. What you see in red that is stricken is what we are removing from this, which really involves Title IX and the investigative process. In prior years, the Title IX representative sat with the assistant principal for athletics position, and they were actually the coordinator of the investigations should there have been a claim brought forward against the district. That has changed. The associate superintendent, Dr. Wilson, will be the district's coordinating Title IX coordinator. She will then work with teams of investigators and decision makers that will be respective to the site and the situation that's being brought to us. And so it is pretty simple, and this may change depending on our president and other actions regarding some of the Title IX issues. So it's just really putting the coordinating responsibilities to Dr. Wilson in her role as Associate Superintendent.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mendeville. Board members, any thoughts or questions or comments on this item? Vice President Barraza?
Yes, I just want to say I have full trust, and I'm great you're handling this, responsibility. So that's all I want to say, Dr. Wilson.
Awesome, thank you. All right, at this time, I move approval of G1, policy JII. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you so much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Next, we have public hearing for the adoption of the 2021-2022 expenditure budget. Dr. Mendeville?
At this time, we have no comments requested for the adoption of the 2021-2022 expenditure budget.
All right, thank you so much. Then we will move on to business services with I-1, adoption of the 2021-2022 expenditure budget. Let's see here. Okay.
Action, yeah.
Yes. Board members, any questions, thoughts, or comments on this item? No? All right, then I move approval of item I-1. May I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have item I-2, approval of the IGA with Tempe, City of Tempe for college and career readiness programming. Any questions on this item? No? All right. I move approval of item I-2. May I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Last item that we have for business services is approval of the memorandum of understanding with the Capital City Classic for Mountain Point High School tournament participation. Any thoughts, questions, or comments on this item? No? All right, I move approval of item I-3. May I have a second?
Yes, Mr. President, I second.
Thank you so much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Next, we have new business on J1, proposed student calendar for the 2022-2023 school year. Dr. Mendeville.
Thank you, President Garcia, Vice President Barraza, members of the board. This is the proposed student calendar for the 22-23 school year. You've already approved the calendar, school calendar for next year a year ago. And just a little background before we go into this. There's a tri-district committee that is working right now working with Kyrene and with Tempe Elementary School District so that we work on an alternative school year calendar similar to what Chandler experiences. And our teachers are involved with that. We have representatives, and we'll be sharing that information at a later time. What this calendar gets us through, because that alternative 3-year calendars, because that usually we're on a 3-year cycle of approving. This is to get us through for the following year. Dr. Keller, do you want to just share a little bit of some of the discussions? And I know Dr. Wilson, you both have had conversations with the committee, including our teachers, and I think came up with a good. plan?
Sure, Dr. Mendeville. President Garcia, members of the board, good to see you. We worked with TSEA in reviewing this calendar, and there was quite a bit discussion as far as when to place professional development for our teachers, and that was really one of the things in looking at this calendar that we wanted to be able to do. We wanted to spread that out so up front at the start of the school we could get teachers some professional development on some very important things that we wanted them to learn about, but also throughout the year, how could we also handle that? You'll notice that after spring break and fall break, there is a day, students, on that Monday, students will actually not return to school, and those are those days where we can do professional development and a lot of in-service for our teachers. So that was built into this particular calendar. Being ever mindful of the students, but also so that we could be more efficient in some of the things we provided.
All right, board members, any thoughts, comments, or questions on this item? Member James?
Yes, I appreciate that Monday. I know that Kyrene does that, so I think that aligns nicely. And as a teacher, I know coming back from a break, I think that's a really great time to do that PD and ease back in. I look forward to seeing the alternative calendar options. I know I'm old enough that I didn't get to experience the year-round, what we called year-round school at Tempe High, but my sisters both did, and my husband had a year of it his senior year. It was really wonderful, and the students loved it. I know my husband was able to take music theory, and he got to go over to ASU while he took his intercession class during fall break, or that 2 weeks, and sit in on a theory class. And I think that the academic success of our students will be increased. I think that 2 weeks, I don't know what ours is going to look like, but I know Chandler does it that way, is good to refresh for teachers and for students. And that shorter summer is also beneficial. My kids are in Kyrene, and they went later this year. They were done June 8th, and they're going back July 29th. We had a wonderful family vacation, and they're ready to go back. And so I think that this would be very beneficial for everybody involved, and I think there's proof in past experiences in our district, but also looking at Chandler's experiences, that this would be a really great thing for our districts as a community to explore.
Thanks so much, Member James. Any other board members? No? All right. Then did I call for a motion for this already? I move approval of J1. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you so much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have J2 Health Mitigation Plan for the 2021-2022 school year. Mr. McDonald.
Right, so before we get to
Sorry.
him, that's fine.
Let's go.
Part of the health mitigation plan revision is to take into response the changes to CDC, where we are, and then to update. But this is also part of the requirement for ESSER 3 funds in opening up in person when we start up on August 2nd. So, Mr. McDonald.
Thank you. Good evening, Principal or President Garcia, Vice President Barraza, governing board members, Dr. Mendeville, executive team, and guests at home watching tonight. Tonight I'm going to give you a brief update introducing the new Safe Return to In-Person Instruction and Continuity of Services Health Mitigation Plan. I understand there's a game tonight, so I won't go through the entire 23 pages. However, they will be uploaded tomorrow by end of day, and we will archive the old health mitigation plan from last year. What you'll see tonight, table of contents, we'll look at the local public health conditions and the scenarios. Health equity is going to be very important to us, as well as we looked at this plan, promoting behaviors to reduce the spread of COVID and all of its variants, maintaining healthy environments, suspected and or positive COVID response. It's going to be very important, quarantining classes, including hopefully never again closing school buildings, and then disabilities, and also the social emotional wellness piece that, of course, we did a lot of work on. And Member Montero spearheaded, and we want to discuss that as well in this plan. So as of the time of submission of this presentation tonight, Maricopa County is experiencing 58 cases to 100,000. So that is in the substantial range. It is at 50 that it would be, below 50 would be going down to the moderate. So just to remind you, blue would be low, the yellow is moderate, going up to the orange is substantial, and then to the red, or I think they do pink now, would be the high. And so you see that in your updates every week as I do the metrics. Tempe Union is experiencing 40.43 cases per 100,000. It's much better. That is in the moderate range with 4.8%, which is in the low range, 4% positivity. Of course, the state will always go by and the county will always go by. So there's two areas to look at. If they split, they go with the higher one. So in this case, we're moderate in cases per 100,000, but we're low in percent positivity. They'll still put us in the moderate area. The guidelines in this Health Mitigation Plan, or HMP, fulfills the rescinding of the Executive Order 2020-51 of Governor Ducey, but also it gives us the newest guidelines as of July 9th. I actually did this this July 7th, and then they changed it all, so we redid it again. So we got really good at doing it, though. So I'm excited about the new Health Mitigation Plan as we go. This explains the scenarios, and of course, we want to be able to be in that blue and yellow range, and that will allow us to be in school 5 days full, pretty much as close as normal or our new normal as possible. You also see this in your update every week as well in the first 2 pages. Health equity, I think, is very important, and as we, schools and districts play critical roles in promoting equity in learning and in health, particularly for groups disproportionately affected by COVID-19. For these reasons, the health equity considerations related to, in our case, the 9-12 setting, it's critical. And the decision-making that we have looked at in consideration of this plan is in this for the update of the guidance for the schools. Tempe Union, of course, will provide safe and supportive environments and reassure families and teachers and staff by planning and using comprehensive prevention strategies, and we'll go through those shortly. Tempe Union will also promote that health equity, as we have been. We've been helping families when they're in need of testing and of vaccinations and support with anything that they might be struggling with, food, services, mental health, those type of things. And then, of course, we also will look at people with disabilities in our community and ensure that we're addressing the needs, and we'll speak a little bit more about that shortly. As we look at promoting behaviors, Tempe Union has considered multiple factors, and the primary factors that we will look at is community transmission, which we just went through. We'll also talk about COVID-19 vaccination coverage, and we just finished another pod, student pod, family pod yesterday. We'll do another full one tomorrow, and then we'll do another one for those families that choose to vaccinate their children on August 7th. And so we'll continue those. We have great partners when it comes to Maricopa County and with our Albertson pharmacy partners, and they're looking to supply us with vaccinations or flu shots or different things for our families and our students as we continue, and our staff. Some of the prevention strategies that we will look at, of course, are those ideas of what do vaccinations do or not do, consistent and correct mask usage, and we know that's going to be optional this year. Physical distancing as appropriate. We still like to be in the 3-foot range when possible. We know that's not always going to be possible to do. Ventilation systems, we'll go through a little bit, hand washing and the respiratory etiquette. Staying home when sick is always one of the main things that we need to share with our families and with our staff. Contact tracing, we know that's going to continue. We know that only about 45% of our state right now has been fully vaccinated. About 50% have at least 1 dose at this time. And so we know, unfortunately, there's going to be contact tracing. There still will be isolation and quarantine for those that are not fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated, again, is going to be both doses, or in case of the Johnson & Johnson, 1 dose 2 weeks after that last dose. And then, of course, cleaning and disinfection will continue on a regular basis 5 days a week. Again, maintaining healthy environments and operations are going to be significant. Again, some of the other pieces, screening guidelines. When we're talking about screening, we need to do our passive screenings at home. So I'd encourage all families and staff and students to do a passive screening at home and make sure that they're looking for any symptoms that may be increased by COVID. Dr. Mendenville, did you have some? Okay, very good. Symptoms and close contacts we will look at. When we talk about visitors and guest speakers and volunteers, that's going to be on an odd-needed basis, of course, and the administration of each campus will be able to do so. Transportation, of course, we're going to offer fully food services, athletic and activity, co-curricular. The AIA has not changed anything at this point, and so we will continue that process of athletics and activities as we go through the year. And of course, we talked a little bit about cleaning and disinfecting the schools and why that's going to be so important. As we look at reporting, notification, and responses, we're still going to ask our Tempe Union families to go ahead and call in their student when they may have symptoms of COVID or actually have been reported with a positive case of COVID. That way that our administration and our nurses can help our students continue through school and help them get their learning, even though they might have to be isolated or quarantined. Also, employees will notify their immediate supervisors. And of course, we'll work with the local health departments to make sure that we do contact tracing and do the required reporting that we need to do. And then lastly, of course, we'll follow protocols that have to do with cleaning. It's going to be really important. We will be in 5 days a week. During the day, we also will have one person doing all high touch points all the time. And so we'll try to keep these classes, especially with students being full-time. Very excited about administration met yesterday, very excited about having some sort of normalcy. So we will do our very best to keep a clean environment. Quarantine classes and closing of buildings, of course, we will still have to watch for those type of things, any type of outbreak, any type of quarantining that needs to happen. However, the difference of this year is that if someone is fully vaccinated, they will not have to quarantine. We will just have them watch for symptoms, and then if symptoms do occur, we'll have them self-isolate, self-quarantine. Of course, contact tracing, I met with the contact tracers just today. We do know with the increase of vaccinations last year, contact tracing went way down, and we look forward to hopefully continuing that trend. However, they are ready and excited about having their students back. Of course, again, we want to be able to help support our children and families with disabilities and other healthcare needs. That means that we will offer the proper accommodations and modifications and assist students, teachers, and staff, especially when it has to do with COVID-19 safety protocols. We will continue to work with families and have a better understanding of what they might be needing. And then, of course, remain accessible to students with disabilities. So their direct service providers provide that access on a regular basis. Some of this may have not occurred when we weren't in person last year, or not as much as we would like to have. This way, paraprofessionals, therapists, early intervention specialists, mental health and healthcare consultants, and others, Care 7, will be available to all of our students and social workers. And then ensure access to service for our students with disabilities in our regular classrooms, in our co-taught classrooms and whatnot. And of course, our social emotional pieces, and we have talked a lot about this summer, but this is going to be important. Not only physical safety, but our mental health of our students and staff is going to be huge. And so we're going to be doing a lot with social emotional wellness. Mr. Denny has already identified our committee that will continue, again, the great work that Member Montero did. And as you see there, we will continue to use the new policy, JLDAA, and its regulation. So at this point, again, if you want to go through the entire 23 pages with all the links, you're more than welcome to, and I'll be able to answer any questions then or now if you have any.
You mean you don't want to go through it sentence by sentence right now?
I can.
Board members, any questions, thoughts, or comments on this item? No? All right. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not used to the buttons yet. It's been a year. Who was first? Okay, thank you, June. Member Montero.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Mr. McDonald, for the presentation. I just had a quick question. When it comes to the vaccinations, I know we're doing a lot, especially with the pods yesterday and today. Are we doing anything, to kind of push that out there and kind of give those resources to students that may not be vaccinated but may want to get vaccinated, or to kind of encourage to get vaccinated? Obviously we can't require it, but are we doing anything to say, hey, if you want to get your vaccine, here's where you go to find out, where you might be able to get that, or you can talk to your parent or guardian on how to do that? Are we doing anything to kind of reach those students that might want to get vaccinated but aren't yet?
Absolutely. So we went ahead and did a whole blitz out there with our parents and students and sent the information out to them. Our coaches also, the athletes and the people in activities and extracurriculars, they really want to be able to stay and not have to get quarantined. So there is a big push by a lot of our athletes to go ahead and they're actually pushing their families to say, hey, I really want to get that vaccination. So I would say the students are probably the number one group that's pushing it, and we're helping support that opportunity. Thank you.
Mr. McDonald, can you share the efforts that we have going on right now? And Desert Vista will continue tomorrow, and then the continued efforts for
Sure.
vaccination opportunities?
No problem. Yeah, so yesterday we just finished our we had a first and second dose again over at Tempe High. Tomorrow we'll have a first and second dose opportunity at Desert Vista. We have another couple hundred signed up for tomorrow for the second dose, and another 100, I believe, for the first dose. And then on August 7th, we'll complete our second dose vaccinations. And then from there, we're already talking, looking at opportunities with our partners on testing, if that's something that the district is interested in looking at, screening testing for our athletic teams, things of that nature. And also they'd like to bring in vaccinations for our families. They believe the flu shot's going to be very, very difficult, maybe the flu is going to be very difficult. So having the vaccination of the flu shot come in, the partners have been great with us, so we want to continue that partnership with the Maricopa County and with our Albertsons group. And from there on, wherever is needed, we're going to continue that. They don't have a problem doing the pod. Right now, vaccines are readily available. And so we would always hope to get more and more. The better part of that is they give us a full list of that, so we can always have that list handy for families. I think the best part of it, looking at like Tempe High yesterday, I was watching not only the students, but we opened it up to staff, of course, and to also the families. So seeing whole families get vaccinated yesterday as a choice for their family was really a nice opportunity, and seeing our district as the hub of that support is really
even better. Good
what we
for
need
you.
to do.
Thank you,
you.
Mr. McDonald.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Vice President Barraza.
Yes, actually, I was listening, and it looked like you hit on exactly what I was wanting to, or what my questions were. More or less, just anyways, it was more pertaining to what are the challenges coming this fall, with the requirements and the dynamics.
Yeah.
I know you've experienced the whole year looking at these numbers. And what kind of numbers are we looking at? I've seen from, news outlets that the majority of the cases seem to be the unvaccinated individuals. So, and I've heard how we can try and encourage those to get vaccinated. Sure. I just wanted to hear kind of your thoughts on the dynamics of the situation.
I think the dynamics is the unknown is going to be the hard part. As we're looking at the variants, right now the Delta variant is 60% of Arizona cases. That's not quite as high as some of the Southwest or even the Midwest for that matter, where Utah, Nevada, and Colorado, those are much higher. I think we're doing pretty well. You are right in saying that the unvaccinated ones are probably seeing that, especially with the Delta variant. But the fact that we have almost 50% people vaccinated, I do think that's going to be quite the decrease. The other part is our students at that age level tend to be asymptomatic. And so that's the other part that helps us. So we don't really always know, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So we keep our environment safe. There are families that want to mask, and that's going to be a choice, and we're okay with that as well. So I can't tell you exactly. I do believe the numbers will go up a little bit in the next couple of weeks just because of the summer and summer travel. But my guess is that we'll stay in the moderate area, Tempe Union that is, for at least a little while.
I appreciate that, and thank you.
And I'll have the metrics out to you on Friday again. They come out again tomorrow, so.
Well, please thank everyone, the entire team. I know we have individuals at each site, and the contact information is on that 23-page, the health mitigation plan. So I hope people take a look at it because all the contact information for their schools are on that document, as well as state resources and medical centers. So, it's very encompassing. So thank you for, putting that together. Please convey everyone the hard work from the whole year and a half it's been, and it's going to be another school year that's going to be kind of,
Yeah,
well,
but
again, the
we're
word
better
dynamic,
at it this time, so we'll be all right.
Exciting is what I say. It's going to be
It's gonna be
exciting
great.
year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice President Barraza and Mr. McDonald. Board members, any other questions on this item? No? All right.
Thank you.
That is all. Thank you so much, Mr. McDonald. All right, we do need approval of this item, so I move approval of item J2, Health Mitigation Plan for the 21-22 school year. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you so much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Next, we have K1 Financial Report through June 29th. This is informational only. So next we have the communications from governing board members, and we'll start down the line today with Member Montero.
I get to go first this time. I don't have too much. I just first want to say welcome back to everyone, since our next board meeting will be after the first day of school. I'm excited to have a new and normal school year again. I'm excited to see all the great things that our students and our staff are going to be able to accomplish this year, and I'm really excited to see everything that happens. And I also want to give a big thank you again to Mr. McDonald for all your work on the student pods. I'm really excited to see, the role that we're playing in getting our students and community vaccinated as we head into the new school year. And also just want to give a welcome to Mr. Leon, and I'm excited to hopefully get to know you and to work with you. And that's all I have.
Thanks so much, Member James.
I'll echo what Board Member Montero said. It's been a pretty quick summer, and I'm looking forward personally to getting back into the classroom, starting in Tempe Elementary. So it's going to be exciting to see our district through the lens of one of our sister districts. And just welcome back to all the teachers that are gearing up to come back sooner than is kind of imaginable, because I do feel like we just finished. But yeah, we're looking forward to a really positive school year, and hopefully we can continue to maintain safe protocols and that keep us in school learning and where our kids need to be. So welcome, Mr. Leon. We're very excited to have you, and I look forward to see what this year brings.
Thank you so much, Member James and Member Montero. Vice President Barraza.
It's wonderful to see everyone again and how we're kind of curving over on the opposite end of this pandemic in terms of the stability aspect. So that's a wonderful feeling. I'm looking forward to this year. I know everyone else is. I hope you all got some rest. It's going to be, a fun year, but I think right now I just really want to wish everyone the best. I'm looking forward to the new staff members coming on, looking forward to seeing the students. I know they're excited about having that real high school aspect back in their lives. And I think we can all appreciate what a school means, what it means to be there. When as a student you gripe about it as, something that it seems, too much of a task, but then when it's taken from you, you value it. And I look for them to be, creative, innovative, the teachers. It's just going to be an exciting time. I also want to just say that, Thank you to security, Charles Cobb, and security members here tonight. Appreciate your time. The Tempe police officers here tonight, I apologize I didn't catch your names, but thank you for your service and time here tonight and making sure that we have, this meeting in a safe environment. So I just want to say, let's, I guess the next meeting will be close to our start of the school year. So, looking forward to seeing all you all. That's all.
Thank you so much, Vice President Barraza. I also want to welcome everyone back. Hope everyone had a restful summer break. I know we still have a few some time, not exactly before we start again, but yes, our next meeting will be, I believe, 2 days into the regular, 2 or 3 days into the regular school year. So welcome back to our students, our staff, and for our new staff, welcoming, as well as Mr. Leon. Excited to have you here. Also want to take a moment to recognize International Non-Binary Day, raising the issues and awareness around non-binary people. And I think it's important to recognize them as we continue to support all of our students. Also want to say go Suns. I know I'm the only thing between us and watching the remainder of the game, and to rally the Valley, so I will get to that point. But before I do, yesterday was Dr. Mendeville's birthday, and so we need to sing happy birthday in a public meeting.
You tried to go under the radar.
So if we can, start singing happy birthday in 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mandeville. Happy birthday to you.
Hopefully many more.
Yes, all right. Yay, Dr. Hey, it's a tradition, and we're going to keep this tradition alive.
Great, thank you.
All right, Dr. Mandeville, that's all I have from me. Dr. Mandeville, do you have any communications or the executive team?
Just as a reminder to the board, and the executive team already knows that I will be working tomorrow and Friday, and likely over the weekend a little bit, but I will be away next week, Monday through Saturday. So Dr. Wilson will be in charge, along with a very competent executive team. So if you have questions, give them to her. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. With that, our next meeting is August 4th, and I move adjournment of this meeting. May I have a second?
Yes, Mr. President, I second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 4-0. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and go Suns.
Go Suns.